guys, my name's Alana and this is my channel Cosmic Wanderer. On this channel I post fashion videos, tattoo and piercing videos, and if you'd like to subscribe that would really help me out, and give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy this content. Today's video for this week is going to be talking about some things that you should consider before getting a tattoo. I have quite a few tattoos now. I'm actually working on an arm sleeve, and so this arm has quite a few tattoos on it, and I just thought that I could use some of my experience with getting tattoos and stuff just to inform you guys. Tattoos are such permanent things, and I think they are definitely something that you want to really think about. They often cost a lot of money, and it's not something that you want to kind of just do on a whim. The first thing that I would say to really think about when considering getting a tattoo, my first thing would be, what style do you want? This is such an important decision because if you're going to be building on an arm sleeve or a leg sleeve, or if you want multiple tattoos, you probably want these tattoos to kind of look very similar in style, because it's going to look quite strange if you have some tattoos that are in, classic kind of American old school style, and then you have Japanese style, and then you have fine line. Like, you really need to, have a good look online and really research into the different types of styles of tattoos. And the best way to do this is honestly just to go on Instagram and find a bunch of different tattoo artists, and just go on Instagram, follow them, and have a look at the different styles that are around and see if any of them really draw your attention. When I was deciding on what type of tattoos did I want, I decided to go with the fine line style. I wanted, very neat, very realistic looking artworks, and so I went on Instagram and Pinterest and things like that, and I found artists that specialized in that style, and I really just looked through different artists' portfolio and decided what I wanted and just kind of figured out what style I liked. I have another tattoo on this arm which doesn't really match completely because it is in color, and this tattoo is kind of like the trial one that I did to see if I liked color, and I decided after getting this tattoo that I didn't really want any more colored tattoos, and I didn't want this sleeve to be colored. I wanted it to be, black and gray. My second tip would be that you need to decide on placement. Figure out on, what placement do you want these tattoos? So what body part, where do you want it? Now, this is important, I would say, more so if you're going to go into a career, for instance, that it's really professional, and that with the career you want or the job that you currently have, that it wouldn't be, say, appropriate. If you're going to be getting a job that's, for instance, like a lawyer or something like that, I'm not saying you can't get tattoos, but just be aware that the placement is going to be really important for you, because if you're a person who's a lawyer or, a doctor or somebody in that kind of really high up, like, medical field, there are a lot of certain kind of social rules regarding tattoos within these jobs. So, for instance, maybe don't go and get a hand tattoo because you're not going to be able to cover that up. The other thing that's to do with body parts is that different body parts are going to have different pain levels. So if that's something that you feel like is going to impact your decision when you get tattoos, maybe if you have no tattoos, I would not recommend getting one on your foot or on your ribs, because they're the most painful areas. I've got quite a few tattoos, and I would say the most painful one for me personally was the one that I got on the very inside of my arm. It's very close to my armpit, and it's kind of on the inside bit here, and that one for me was quite painful. I mean, for me, the career path that I'm working towards is mental health, and I also have very creative, I have a business, and I have like a business that I'm starting up, and I have a lot of other things like YouTube and everything that's kind of in the sphere of like career type things. So for me, I can kind of get them wherever I want because it's a very creative, all those industries are very creative and quite open minded. Whereas if you're going to go through, becoming a lawyer, that's going to be very different. So yeah, make sure you consider that. My third one would be you need to think about what artist do you want to do your tattoo and what do you want to get. So I'm going to include this together because some artists, like I was saying about tattooing styles, artists will only generally do the one style. So if you want Japanese style, you can't just go to any tattoo artist. You need to go to one that is specialized in Japanese style artworks. If you want fine line pieces, you're going to need to go and do your research and you need to find somebody who's going to specialize and who is good at fine line. So you really need to do your research and think about what artists do you want, where do they live? Do you want to travel to get your tattoos? I've traveled to get some of my tattoos because I had found this one tattoo artist. She is at Fresh Ink Tattoo Studio, which is in the Gold Coast in Helensvale. If you look on their website, you will find there is a girl in particular who does a lot of fine line artworks. I cannot remember her name for the life of me. I'm going to put a picture of her profile Instagram picture up here on the screen to explain who she is because this is who I went to get two of my tattoos done. So I specifically saved money and emailed and did the whole process of booking an appointment, and then I went to the Gold Coast and got these two tattoos and spent the whole day getting them done, and I went specifically for that. So yeah, you need to think about like who you want, because if you want an artist that lives in a different state to you, or you might have to drive, maybe it's just a couple hours away, it depends. So you need to figure out, do you want to do that? And you want to do your research and make sure that you have picked somebody who is going to do the style you want, because there's no point in going to somebody who specializes in tribal and you're saying that you want Japanese or you want something completely different, or somebody who only really specializes in black and white, and then you go to them and say, I want a full-on color piece. Then the following question would be, what price range are you going to set for yourself? Do you have a budget? Is this something you're going to save up, for over time? Or are you just wanting to jump in and get something now? Because if you want to just get something now, I would say to get a smaller piece. And if you want to get a bigger piece, it's really best to save the money, even if it takes you a few years or a bit longer. I think it's a lot better to kind of save that money and find the person who you really want and invest that money, because like I said, this is permanent. You don't want to obviously go into debt or anything, but for me, I decided like I wanted to go to the Gold Coast to get two tattoos. So I was like, okay, this is like what their price range is for this artist, and I found all that information out. But I would say, do you know what? If you're approaching tattoo artists, don't go to them and the first question you ask them is what's your price, because it can come across very rude and very inappropriate. Because it's like if you went to an artist who does like paintings on a canvas and you said you wanted to buy one of their artworks, but all you cared about was whatever the cheapest artwork was. It's like if you value this person and their artwork, and this is their job, this is their career, this is their profession, they have trained for this, they have, done whatever certificates or qualification that they need to get, they've put their time and energy into this and work very long hours, and doing this as a permanent thing on someone else's body, not to mention the medical stuff that is also they have to learn. So, make sure you're being like professional about it, and that if you're going to approach a tattoo artist, it's okay to ask for an estimated price, because if you're saving up, you need to know. But definitely don't let this be your first question. Like, leave it until you've approach the artist and say, hey, this is what I would do. Like, when I'm planning on getting tattoos, I generally just message the artist, but you need to contact them however they want to be contacted. And I'll just send, I'll send a couple pictures of things that I like, and I'll say, hey, this is what I was thinking of getting. I've seen your art. I really like what you do. Would this be something you'd be interested in doing? And then we kind of talk for a bit, and they'll be like, yes or no. And then they'll tell me, when their availabilities are, what their deposit fee is. And then they'll generally give me like an estimated price and how many hours it may take to get it done, things like that. If you have a budget, then that's okay. But I would say, be realistic in that tattoos do cost large amount of money because it is a permanent thing. And then the last thing that I would say that you need to consider is the time that it's going to take to actually get the tattoos. So you need to think about like how long is the tattoo going to take, and generally the artist will tell you. So for instance, a tattoo that I got here, this took 3 hours. So the tattoo artist said to me, for this tattoo in this size, probably going to take 3 hours. So you want to make sure that you've picked a day, you have the time in your life to go and get the art done, and then you need the time, and you have to be responsible for the healing process, because you can't just go get a tattoo and then think that it all stops there and you leave it. Because if you don't look after it, if you're not doing the instructions of how to take care of it and do the healing process, you're going to have wasted a lot of money. It's going to heal badly. You can get infections, which is can be very bad, and it's not really respecting the artist either when they've gone to all this hard work as well for the art. And obviously for you want your artwork to look good. So yeah, that is the last thing that I will say you need to consider, because the healing process is a part of this whole process and it's really important. So make sure that you're following the instructions and doing it. I have always followed the healing instructions, and even now, like post healing, I moisturize my tattoos all the time. In my other tattoo video, I go into detail on how I keep my tattoos looking good, but you want to make sure, you're applying sunscreen once it's healed, doing what the tattoo artist says. If you have problems, you need to message them and go back. So the whole thing really is about communicating with the person. It doesn't just stop once you get it. And a lot of tattoo artists love to get you to send a photo once it's healed, just to add to their portfolio and everything. So yeah, those were my tips and advice. If you're getting a new tattoo, I'm so excited for you. I love tattoos and I love seeing other people's ideas and what they have and stuff. So if you have tattoo, like, I'd love for you to send me your photos and stuff. Like, my Instagram and everything is down below. But yeah, I hope this video helped you, and I will see you in my next video.